Alright, so here we go. I hope everyone has had a very Merry Christmas. And get this, the dev team just confirmed it that they plan to support this game even more than they originally thought. Yes, we got yet another brand new interview with the dev team as they speak about how things have changed for them and how this has ultimately affected their post-launch plans for the better. And we already know that we're going to be getting 2 expansions down the road, and it looks like we might have our first details about what to expect from those expansions. And we got some brand new concerns that the community has shown after the recent patch update, and the dev team did thankfully take some time to respond about those issues that we're going to go over. And yes, I'm going to go over your top comments as well. So let's dive in. So I say we take a look at those official replies from the devs, and then we're going to get into the actual dev interview here, which is brand new. But first, here's the question. It says this: could a small ease of life change for the stash be integrated? The removal of take all button, to be honest, it's not really necessary, and since there is no deposit all option, all this causes is unnecessary frustration. When you accidentally take all the stash items, it takes way too long to return all the items. Great point. And the response from GSC, they say this: we're working on some quality of life improvements for inventory management. We will see how it goes. So work on the inventory management system is very much underway right now. How extensive that will be, we'll have to find out as we get into the next major patch update. And there's been a lot of requests, a lot of feedback out there, and some players feel like their voice is just not being heard. In fact, here's this post right here. It says, is there ever going to be a patch to fix the inverted mouse option, which refuses to save since release? I reported this very early on, and now 200 plus hours of gameplay later, I still have to reapply this setting every single time I load the game. Please fix this minor annoyance. How difficult could it be? Here's the response from the dev team. This is not about difficulty of the fix. This is about prioritizing. We have a huge scope of things to deal with, including optimization, removing story blockers, fixing A-Life, improving balancing, etc. With each patch, we are making fixes to the issues like yours, and I do hope we'll fix this in the nearest patches. So of course, it's not necessarily that they are totally neglecting features and are ignoring you. It's just they have this massive list of things to get through. So I think it's just going to take some patience to get to the issue that, you might want fixed. They're just going to have to eventually work their way to it. But anyway, I say we get into this brand new interview right here. Following Stalker 2's success, developer GSC Game World contends with this new reality. And oh boy, what a reality it is, because things have changed big time for GSC Game World and things are looking very good, especially when it comes to that post-launch support, because we got even more updates about that. So let's dive into this article. So yeah, the intro to the article goes on to describe, yes, the success of Stalker 2. We already know that it's a massive success, that there's even talks about a potential Netflix series, which, by the way, many of you are like, if that does happen, Netflix, you better not screw it up. In fact, some people would prefer an HBO series. But one of the big problems when a game becomes so mainstream like this, there's going to be a lot of noise around it and potential of losing its identity, and that can be a big problem. However, on the flip side, the good news is that, yes, it looks like we're getting even more support. And here's what GSC Game World had to say to IGN, saying this: you need to think properly because we now have a really big audience, and sometimes different parts of this audience want to see different things. So we need to live now with this new reality, with a live community, and talking with them and trying to understand them maybe deeper, because we really want to make our relationship good. And I love that they are acknowledging and are very aware of their current audience and aren't really getting ahead of themselves. This is extremely important going forward. They do not lose the DNA that is Stalker. And the article does go on to confirm that they had future plans for video games that remain unchanged, but they plan to invest even more in post-launch support for Stalker 2 than had previously earmarked, saying the following: around 5 years ago, or maybe 6 years ago, we had a plan of what we were going to do in the nearest 10 to 15 years, what projects we wanted to do, how we're going to look like. In all these years, we are slightly updating this plan by just moving the dates forward until we release the game. And so 6 years pass and we still want to do the same games we planned earlier, and nothing changed. The only things that changed is that we didn't think that we would like to invest much more time in live updates of Stalker 2 after the game's release, that we would want to add much more things in this game in live updates. So that is absolutely huge news in my mind. They have even more plans than originally intended because of this game's success. We kind of saw the same thing happen to Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 as well, as that game kind of saw a similar situation where the success spiraled out of control, I guess you would say, and caused the dev team to take a step back and say, hey, you know what? We really need to go all in on supporting this game post-launch. So yeah, it's kind of nice that the Stalker 2 community is now in the same boat as the Space Marine 2 community, dealing with a very successful franchise. But what does this mean for Stalker 2 and its players exactly? Well, guess what? It looks like GSC is now in a position to add ideas it was forced to cut from the game before launch because they weren't ready, and even add new ideas that have sprung up in the wake of Stalker 2's release. How I would love to be a fly on the wall at their studio right now. I would love to know exactly what the new features are in particular. And they go on to confirm this one right here. They said, we didn't expect that we would go back to improving Stalker 2 for a lot, and now we still have the same plan for 10 to 15 years of development of other things we want, but also putting much more in development of Stalker 2. Adding, because I actually love the world we built, I still find a lot of things that we can make better, and we want to make better. And now we have players for whom we can do that, for whom we have to do that, and for me, it's very driving. And in fact, GSC Game World wants to be in the same league as CD Projekt Red in the future. And with how things are going, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if that actually happened. They are very much well on their way, despite, of course, this having a bit of a rough launch. But my God, considering what they have created during the actual development process, considering it was like actual hell, can you imagine what they can do in peacetime? Yeah, the future for this team is extremely bright. But GSC Game World is clearly excited about the future. They also posted this right here, Stalker Heart of Chernobyl, Christmas Eve at the Zone, and they put 2025. And you can see here, the snow is falling, which got a lot of people discussing, hey, would we probably see, or most likely see, some sort of expansion in winter in a snow theme? And a lot of people thought that that would be very, very cool. In fact, they could introduce a lot of survival mechanics around surviving in brutal, snowy, cold conditions, which I think would fit really, really nicely into this setting. Let me know if you guys agree with that or not, but it's definitely a discussion that has been stirred up since this Christmas Eve post. Which leads me to this post right here, Stalker 2 DLC descriptions, which apparently describe what we can expect from the two big expansions post-launch. And this post has been strangely making the rounds and has absolutely no source whatsoever with it. It's like a one-of-a-kind thing, but we'll entertain it for a second and try to see what it's trying to tell us. So for expansion 1, we have apparently what's called Echoes of the Past. In Echoes of the Past, players take on the role of a new stalker who discover a mysterious journal left by one of the first explorers of the zone. Now, the journal contains clues about previously unknown anomalies and artifacts that could change the fate of the zone forever. Following in the footsteps of missing researchers, players discover a dark secret of the past that shed new light on the creation of the zone and its true destiny. New locations, enemies, and challenges await those who dare to explore the secrets of the past. And apparently, expansion number 2 would be called Shadow of the Monolith. Now, it says Shadow of the Monolith takes players into the middle of a conflict between various factions fighting for control of a mysterious artifact that has appeared in the heart of the zone. Now, this artifact, known as the Shadow Monolith, has unimaginable power that can change reality. Now, players must decide which faction to trust and what actions to take to prevent disaster. During their mission, they discover that the Shadow Monolith is the key to understanding the true nature of the zone and its influence on the outside world. New missions, weapons, and characters will take players even deeper into this dangerous world. I mean, I gotta say, it does sound really cool, and I hope it pans out to be true, because it would be nice if they could also expand upon the faction system as well, because I do feel like that's one part of the game they do need to tap into a little bit more. So it would be really exciting if these expansions could really open that up and explore that a bit more. We'll see. Again, that is definitely more of a rumor slash leak, but it has been making the round, so I thought I would at least briefly mention it here, and it's generic enough where I do not think it's going to be considered spoilers. But you know, GSC Game World, things are very much fluctuating over there. You never know what's going to change with their plans when it comes to expansion, so I would honestly wait for official word when it comes to those expansions. But you know, they did mention they do want to add brand new features, so I say we discuss a lot of this stuff and get it out in the open. What would you guys like to see from expansions? I myself, I would love to see that snow type setting, brutal cold conditions where you do have to make like a camp to survive, add that sort of thing into the game. That would be very, very different, and I think would open a lot of, you know, survival options and different gameplay loop into this universe. But I think you guys know what time it is. It's time to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It can end up right here in a future video. So let's see what you guys had to say. So we have this one. I really want to have a free play mode to explore the zone after completing the story. 452 upvotes. Yeah, you know, it's a shame that this isn't already a thing in the game. You would expect that this would be a given, but hopefully GSC Game World would consider adding something like this, because right now it's currently a pain in the butt. Even I was playing Indiana Jones in the Great Circle recently as well, and that's not even considered like completely open world, but they have a way where you can revisit stuff even after you finish the main story, even after those main credits roll. So I really do think they need to desperately make an update to this, since so many players are asking for it. And also, it would be nice to see a new game plus as well. But what we got here, it says night vision goggles, binoculars, torch upgrades, improvements to combat AI. Enemies are too accurate with short range weapons, which disrupt your ADS. Longer day and night cycle, 2 hours should do it. An encyclopedia for monsters, anomalies, artifacts, and capability to change weapon upgrades at the technician are the main ones I want to see. And I gotta say, it would be really cool beyond just a flashlight, night vision goggles, is to be able to use flares. You know, I've played Alan Wake 2, and one of the cool things about that one is it kind of scares enemies away. It would be nice to be able to throw down some flares. You can see the enemies and mutants kind of react and kind of freaked out by the light source or heat or whatever it is that would scare them. So yeah, it would be really cool to add that sort of mechanic into the gameplay, because you kind of make perimeter defense around yourself with light. So yeah, let me know if you guys would like to see that as well. And we got this one right here. HBO should give the Stalker TV show the same treatment as Chernobyl. Dear God, that would make it extra creepy. That would put it over the top. 100% agree with that one. That would be cool. And some concerns about Netflix. Netflix would find a way to screw it up. Dear God, with what they did with The Witcher, yeah, I'm a little bit apprehensive. Then again, you do have to consider they do have things like Stranger Things, so hopefully it can end up in that pool of Netflix shows where it's really, really good. We've also got this comment here, not interested in PvP at all. I would like more gear, an expanded map, and story and enemies, etc. That would be nice. Yeah, I'm a little worried about them adding PvP in as well, how much dev time that's actually going to take away from the core experience. And honestly, you know, I've said it before, if they did anything multiplayer, I would have preferred it to be cooperative play, and I think a lot of people agree with that. But I myself, I'm absolutely loving the single player, and you know, if they're going to add 2 expansions, why not 3, you know? That would be more ideal, at least in my personal opinion. All right, so yeah, there it is. Thank you all so much for the comments. And again, I have to say it, thank you so much for the love and support through 2024. Yes, we are nearing the end of the year, and we're going to be heading into 2025 here very, very soon. Some exciting games coming up there, but I am mostly looking forward to what they're going to be doing with Stalker 2 in 2025. Let me tell you what. Yes, the future is looking extremely bright for this game and for this franchise. Cannot wait to see what GSC does next. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.